All right, welcome back. I already started this once, and I got about 8 minutes into it, but I think I can do a better job. So bear with me. I'm trying to get better at this. Last time I had a really scripted out topic because I wanted to make sure that I didn't mess up any of the steps. This time I don't have a script at all, and I'm hoping that I can keep myself on topic. So, on the last video, I talked about teamwork and having a good attitude and about introversion and extroversion, how that sets the tone for relationships. Um, I want to touch on executive action. And what I mean by that is the, I think the easiest way to recognize certain personality characteristics in other people are through their, the actions that the decisions that they make out loud. So whether those are physical constructs in the world and the way they organize it out loud, whether it is by them organizing it or delegating other people to organize it, and also by those who want to manage behavior in a certain way, or delegate other people's behavior in a certain way. Those I think are easy things that people can identify. So I want to explain a little bit more about how that goes into introversion and extroversion as well, because there are two things that we have to do all the time. We have to make decisions and we have to deal with information. And one of the biggest points of contention for people are that about half of the 16 personality types, they'll gather information and then they'll make a decision. The other half of the personality types, they will make a decision and then they'll gather information. And so that completely separates two sides of the 16 personalities, because for me as an INFJ, I find it incredibly difficult to make a decision unless I have information in front of me. But I don't think I'd make a very good first responder, because if there's an accident, I freeze up because I don't have the information. I don't feel I'm qualified to make a decision unless I have that information. But if their house is on fire, you need somebody like a firefighter who can jump in to action right away before they have all the information, or else the house is going to burn down. So I know that about myself, and I'm not comfortable with making decisions until I have information. So but I have people like, I don't want to name names, but going into work, one of my managers at work is very good at jumping right into action and delegating, and just very, very on point when it comes to making a decision. And I'm in my head a lot at work, and I really try to fit the expectation of that manager, because I know kind of how they operate. So I guess I try to model my actions after that, but I often fall up short because that's not really how I work. So that's why it's great to talk about this, because we do have different ways of functioning. So find your true nature, and that's what we're trying to get to. So all right, so I didn't really want to make a cut, but I had to make a cut because I got off topic a little bit. So going back to making decisions, it's a lot about the attitude in which they share that information. So like I said, the things that are higher on that list, you more likely will have a better attitude about. And then as you go down that hierarchy, you get into more critical behavior. So going back to the last video, in a certain environment, if you react positively to something, you make a decision positively in nature, then it seems that environment or that task is more along the lines of your true self. If you are more critical of that and make decisions more critically, then there's a good chance that that job or task is against your true nature. So your attitude does fluctuate, and the introversion and then extroversion kind of sets the tone. So when we talk about extroversion, or when we talk about executive action, I'm talking about the extroverted thinking and the extroverted feeling and the ways that you make those decisions. Now, the funny part about those is that it would seem natural for it to be a one-to-one. What you think inside is what you say outside. Well, that's not really the case. What you think inside is what you say outside about behavior and feelings. And what you think inside about behavior and feelings is what you say outside with your physical construction of your environment. So they basically are an echo of the other. So when people, like one manager at work, when they say the physical outside environment needs to be such and such and such, that's more of an external manifestation of an internal value system. And then on the other hand, when somebody is making an executive action, making an executive decision on behavior and social construct, or delegating a certain social behavior, that is an external manifestation of an internal logic structure. So it's not really a one-for-one. Now I'll get more into it, especially with intuition, because I tonight at work, one of my coworkers made a comment about reading between the lines, which is a lot of what being an intuitive, somebody with a heavy intuition can read between the lines. But I'm just talking about what people say, not about what you're reading into it. That's a whole nother topic. So I just wanted to add that onto it. So I hope that I'm making more sense. This is completely unscripted. I had to start a couple times, but I got off topic. So one tiny little edit. So I hope you'll please forgive me on that. So, all right, I don't know where I'm going next, but I would like, if you would like to have a little bit more understanding on that topic, please say so in the comments, and I'll be glad to discuss more about this with you. Eventually, I'm going to have some visual aids, hopefully to make this a little bit more easily understood, especially to some of you personality types. You might fare better with some visual aids, but we'll get there eventually. But I'm fine just getting my point across for now, so stick with me. I'm sure I'm going to have a lot more. My third class is tomorrow, and we'll see where we go from here. We'll see you next time.